A very warm welcome to you all. Today, we're going to journey through a really powerful passage from the Quran, but instead of just looking at it as text, I want us to frame it like a short, intense drama, a play in 3 acts. It's a story that starts with mockery, gets a divine reply, and then takes this stunning turn that leads to a final, unavoidable reckoning. So let's dive right in. So our story kicks off right in the middle of the action with this question, but you can almost hear the tone, can't you? This isn't a genuine question from someone looking for knowledge. No, this is a taunt. It's a challenge thrown down by skeptics. It's basically them saying, all right then, if you're telling the truth, prove it. Make it happen, right now. And that's where all the tension begins.
And that brings us to Act 1, a challenge to belief. This opening scene sets up the central conflict of the entire story perfectly. It's a clash between 2 totally different perspectives. On one side, you have impatient human demands, and on the other, absolute divine authority.
Let's call this challenge a mock question. It's so interesting because it really reveals a whole psychology. See, a mock question isn't about finding an answer. It's a rhetorical posture. It comes from a place of arrogance, of wanting to control everything and demanding that the universe bend to your schedule, to your need for proof. It's an easy way to dismiss a serious warning without ever having to really engage with it. Okay, so let's move into Act 2 and see how this all built. Now we get the reply, and it just completely reframes the entire conversation. The rising action really starts here, as that human challenge is met with a divine perspective that, it operates on a completely different timescale.
The response delivered through the prophet is just so profound. First, it's a statement of complete humility. I don't have this power. I can't speed things up or slow them down just for you. And then second, it introduces this crucial concept. Every community, every nation has a specified, unchangeable term, an appointed time. The message couldn't be clearer. Justice doesn't work on our impatient schedule.
And right here, the core conflict is just laid bare. On one side, you've got the human demand. It's loud, it's immediate, it's all about right now. Prove it now. But on the other side, you have the divine decree, calm, absolute, and unmovable. Justice has its own time. These 2 things are just operating on completely different planes.
And then comes this incredible counter question that just completely flips their logic back on them. It's basically asking, are you really sure you want this to be rushed? I mean, think about it. What part of a sudden, overwhelming disaster, whether it hits you in the dead of night or the middle of the day, what part of that are you so eager to experience? It's a masterful way of exposing their taunt as nothing but empty bravado. Which brings us to the climax, Act 3. The mockery meets reality. And here, the whole narrative just pivots. The worldly debates, the taunts, the questions, it all just falls away. The theoretical discussion is officially over, and the scene shifts to the ultimate courtroom, where the consequences are very real and very immediate. Just listen to the piercing irony in that one little word. Now? You'll believe it now that it's here, inescapable, now that you can see it with your own eyes? So the point is, a belief that's declared at the point of no return, it just doesn't carry the same weight. It's a lot like Pharaoh, who only declared his belief as the waves were literally crashing down on him. It's a confession born from desperation, not conviction, and it came way too late. This shows us this tragic but predictable sequence, the point of no return. It starts with a clear warning. That warning, it's mocked and dismissed. But then, when reality finally arrives, the belief that follows is just hollow. It's a declaration made when there's no other choice, and because of that, it's meaningless. And so, Act 3 reaches its inevitable conclusion, the verdict. At this point, the tone shifts to one of absolute finality. All the arguments are over, and the judicial proclamation is delivered. The wrongdoers are told to taste the consequences, and then comes that critical question. Are you being recompensed except for what you used to earn? This drives home a core principle of moral cause and effect. The outcome isn't random. It's presented as the direct harvest of the seeds that were planted by a person's own actions and choices. And that's really the bottom line. In this final accounting, your deeds are the only evidence that gets submitted. Last-minute words, regrets, excuses, they all become irrelevant. It's your actions and the intentions behind them that stand as the definitive record. And notice the incredible irony here. Even when they're faced with this undeniable reality, some will still ask for one last confirmation. Is this really happening? Is it true? The answer isn't another debate. It's an oath, a sworn testimony. Yes, by my Lord, it is truth.
Denial just has no power to change what's real.
And just think about how useless worldly things become in that moment. Imagine you owned everything on planet Earth, all the resources, all the money, every treasure. If you tried to offer all of it as a ransom to change your verdict, its value would be exactly zero. It simply can't buy you out of the consequences of your own deeds.
So what's left? A quiet, internal regret. A recognition of what was lost, something confided only to oneself when seeing the reality of the punishment. And right after that, we get this crucial assurance. The judgment itself will be carried out with perfect justice. No one will be wronged in the slightest.
The courtroom scene closes by establishing the ultimate foundation for this verdict. First, the judge owns everything in existence. Second, his promise of both reward and consequence is absolute truth. And third, he alone holds the ultimate power over life and death. The verdict is final because the authority is absolute.
And this leaves us with a final, really searching question. If mocking the truth doesn't change it, and denying reality doesn't make it go away, then what's the real purpose of denial? It's a thought that takes us right back to the beginning of our story, to that first mock question, and it leaves us to reflect on our own relationship with the truths that we're presented with every single day.